recording. Okay. So today is going to be all about the nervous system and tools to basically, like I said, help you navigate your nervous system. And it's very important to be aware of your nervous system because it plays a role in every aspect of your health and your well-being. And it guides your everyday activities, whether it's like waking up or like automatic activities like breathing, complex processes like thinking, reading, remembering, feeling emotions, things like that. Your nervous system is sort of always playing a role, especially with your mind. It's like the biggest connector between your mind and your body. And learning about your nervous system and like which resources and techniques will work best for you is going to help you learn to like balance and expand your nervous system. So by experimenting with techniques, you're going to find what works for you and what helps you balance out your nervous system and what brings you back to that grounded state, and brings your basically entire mind-body network into a state of balance. So before we get into all the tools and everything, I want to do a little exercise with you guys. So really pay attention to the way that your body feels, and like what you start to notice is happening in the changes that you're feeling in your body. So for the next minute or so, think about, it doesn't have to be the worst thing, but think about something really bad that you've experienced in your life, something very negative, something that was really hard to deal with. And we're going to just take a minute and just think about it and just watch how your body changes and be aware of that, but just think about that memory for a second and how it made you feel, what you experienced. Take yourself through that memory for just a minute and just watch how your body reacts to that. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to think about that. Okay. So now that you thought of one of your worst situations, something that you've experienced, some hardship. Now think about your best experience, something that made you really happy, something that like every time you think about it, it just brightens your day. Like what is your rock? What is something that made you smile this week that you can't stop thinking about? Something like that that just makes you feel really good when you think about that memory. Now take a minute and think about that and just realize what that does to your body and how that's making you feel. So I'll let you guys take a minute to just feel that and sit in it in your best memory. Okay, so did you guys notice how your body changed? Type a 1 in the chat if you're starting to feel like, if you noticed a difference in your body, because normally like when you're going through something that's hard or you take yourself back to a memory that was difficult for you to deal with. Okay, we got some 1s coming in, good. So yeah, you can tell that your body definitely reacts when your mind takes you to that place. And that's because your memories are like extremely distinct they're very tied into your nervous system, because like for instance, when you think of something negative, your heart rate goes up, right? You start to feel a little bit anxious and your body starts to jitter a little bit. You start to get restless, maybe even a little sweaty. And then when you're feeling good, you feel calmer, you're taking deeper breaths, right? That's your nervous system at work. And the thing is that whether it's a recent memory or whether it's something from the past or it's currently happening, your nervous system is going to trigger the same reaction as it would have in the moment. So this is why they say like it's important to think about, like be conscious of your thoughts and the things that you're spending your time on, because it's going to bring that back into your reality today, which is why like people say, for instance, your thoughts, like experiences happen twice, and it's first when it actually happens to you, and then second when you relive it, because nothing ever is in the past until you're done thinking about it. Because when you think about it, all that feeling comes back up, right? You start to react the same way that you did during that situation, even though it's not as extreme. That's your nervous system at work. So That's why it's super important to be aware of ways to bring yourself back to that center with your nervous system, because your nervous system is like a direct tie to your mind. So how you're feeling is going to show in your body. It will have a reaction. So one tool that really helps with your nervous system is bilateral stimulation. So like that would mean like stimulating both hemispheres of the brain. And by doing this, like you're redirecting the intense energy and you access higher functioning parts of the brain. So when you're in a state of like hyperarousal, when you're starting to feel that everything coming up and all those emotions in your body, your limbic brain is the part of your brain that's responsible for survival mode. It cuts off connection with your prefrontal cortex. So you lose the ability to think logically or rationally, which is why people have panic attacks and things like that, because you're not really thinking logically. You kind of let your emotions lift you up off the ground, right? Which is why we call it grounding when you're bringing yourself back to the center. But doing this literally cuts off logical, rational thinking. So that's why you want to catch it before you get there and have the tools in place to stop that from cutting off, you know? So one tool that's bilateral stimulation that helps you shift your focus and access higher functioning would be to grab an object, whether it's a coffee cup, a bottle of water, even your phone, just anything around you, and then move the object from left to right, following with your eyes, because doing that will sort of like rebalance everything, and it'll kick your mind into place of using both sides of your cortex. So it helps you kind of readjust and level it back out and reconnect the prefrontal cortex and the limbic part of your brain. So that would be bilateral stimulation, is grabbing an object and moving it from left to right, following it with your eyes, like how we do with the pencil, things like that. It brings you back to reality. So that's one grounding technique. Now, another one would be to pat yourself down. So patting yourself down, like patting parts of your body and like really like feeling you. This also helps if you get disassociated a lot, or like you just bring yourself out of that, like out of reality and sort of into your head. It helps to touch yourself, like pat yourself down, because it brings conscious awareness back into your body and out of your head. It's sort of like bring yourself back to reality. And sudden stimulation of the nerves through touch, like just like randomly and quick. Yeah, I get disassociated all the time, so I do this a lot. But yeah, disassociation is huge for me too. And that was something I struggled with for a really long time, actually. But this has been super helpful because it sort of like snaps your brain out of it, like without having to really think about it, you know, and have to like train your mind to like follow these steps to get back. It sort of just looks like sends a shock sort of through your nervous system and kind of shuts that off. So it's really good for disassociation, but also anxiety and just regulating your nervous system in general. But those are the two main ones. So anyway, patting yourself down, because sudden stimulation of the nerves through touch, it disrupts anxiety, like anxious thought patterns, and the firm sensation of the touch increases the blood flow, and it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So it sort of like gets your blood flowing, and it brings back the consciousness to those parts, because now you're sending signals from like touching your arm, like you can feel that. And that's because it's sending a signal to your brain telling you that your arm's being touched. So instead of thinking about all the stuff you have going on and all that just nervous feelings that you have going on, if you're touching yourself, your body's going to like now react to that. It's kind of like when you're hurt and someone like kicks you or like scratches you and to like distract you from the pain. It's that type of thing, except distracts you from your mind. And you just have to pat yourself down. You don't actually have to hurt yourself. But so using open palms, you can pat the head, shoulders, chest, belly, thighs, knees. You can even start from the bottom, like of your body, if you're somewhere that you can relax, and just work your way up your whole body. And that's like a really good way to like be conscious of every part of your being and sort of bring that awareness back into your body and be focused on those signals rather than the ones coming from your brain. So patting yourself down is huge. The other one is shake it out. Like when people say shake it off, or like you're like super angry and you just have to like walk away and like shake your hands, things like that. Shaking it out literally shakes it out. Like when people shake out the jitters, that's a very helpful technique. So shaking it out. And throughout the day, like we always encounter so many small stressors. And the thing is that your body holds so much that like it comes from emotion or damage or hurt or just very strong experiences. They get held in your body. So by shaking it out, you're actually releasing all of that and you're letting it like go instead of holding all of the tension. So by shaking or tremoring, it's the body's natural way of like letting off steam and regulating back to a state of calm. So like, for instance, especially if you're jittery, if you shake it out, it'll kind of like reset the nerves. And so you won't be like shaking. It'll kind of like literally like you released it, like you threw it away kind of. So a good way to do this is to stand with both feet grounded and shake from the knees, either like side to side, up or down, or with small bounces too. And paying attention to the sensations in the body, the weight that's being moved, and your breath. So don't hold your breath during this, just kind of relax and notice, pay attention to the way that your body feels and like really imagine yourself shaking it off, literally. And how heavy it is, how you're breathing, how it's moving, like really focus on that sensation. And that's going to help you literally like get it out of your body through your hands and just out, away from you. So shaking it out. As simple as it sounds, it's very effective. The other thing too is balance exercises. And this is helpful even if you're not in a state of nerves or whatever it may be, any kind of reaction that your nervous system is having. These are good just to do regularly, daily, as you would your meditation or your yoga, things like that, just to keep it regulated at all times. That way it's sort of like working out. So when you get sick, it doesn't hurt as much and you have more resources in your body, things like that. Same thing with the nervous system. If you have more resources at hand that you're implementing daily, it's going to prevent it from happening to you so often. Just like with meditation, your mind is more clear throughout the day, right? Same thing with the nervous system. It won't happen to you so often. You won't get these sensations because you're regulating your nervous system regularly. So balance exercises, super easy way to bring your prefrontal cortex back online, that logical, rational thinking. So is through proprioception and interoception. What I mean by that is by coordinating and balance exercise, like coordination and balance exercises that basically mean you have to pay attention to what's going on internally, whilst also understanding where your body is in space. So by like balancing out, it's kind of like bringing the connection back from the outside to the inside, from your mind to your body. And so it makes you have to focus on where your body is, because obviously you have to balance, right? So it's going to take you out of that mindset of whatever's going on with you, and it's going to bring you back to reality, because even though you want to think about it, your mind prioritizes thinking about balancing because it goes into survival mode. So activities like standing with your weight on one leg, raising the other leg to the other side or behind you, putting your right heel in front of your toe, like walking like on a tightrope, walking backwards, or even yoga or Tai Chi are like great ways to restore your balance. And it just brings you back into your body and kind of makes that the core focus. So that way you're not like lost in your mind. These are ways to pull you out of your mind and back into reality. Another one, this is the last one, is legs up on the wall pose. So this one is a good one, but obviously you can't do it as like anywhere really. So you kind of have to be somewhere where you can relax and you have the space to do so. But this is a good one because legs up on the wall helps with so much, not just your nervous system. It helps with, oh my gosh, like I could just go on for days. Like it helps with your gut, it helps with your blood flow. It just helps with just like even stretching. Like it just helps with everything. It's so good to do this because it really just kind of like, especially because we're always standing on our feet, it kind of like reverses everything. But it's the best pose to restore the mind and the body. And not only does this immediately bring relief to the lower back, but it, or like just parts of your back in general. So it even helps with posture and with like soreness and relaxing your muscles, things like that, especially the lower back, which is really hard to reach. But it effectively eases symptoms of anxiety immediately. So especially if you have gut issues and things like that. And a lot of people hold anxiety in their gut, which is why it's super beneficial to one, take care of your gut, but to two, do this pose because it's going to ease all those symptoms like pretty quickly. And the other thing too is the best place, obviously, to perform this would be in like a quiet spot, probably in your house. Just a place where there are few distractions, because you really want to focus on the way it's making your body feel and the sensations that it's bringing down your legs and on your back, and kind of just like allowing it to sort of let things flow backwards. So legs up on the wall is a very good one. I'm gonna go over them all one more time. These are just a few ways to help regulate your nervous system, because your brain is, your brain and your body are always expanding. We're always adapting, and we are very, very resilient creatures. And by connecting and nurturing your nervous system, you can adjust your routines and your rituals to fit in with your current state and the systems that you have. So by regulating your nervous system, it helps you vibrate higher, because instead of vibrating like at such a quick, anxious pace, or just like too calm that like you're just stressed out, it brings you back to that level of balance and that center in your core. So by regulating your nervous system, you're automatically helping your brain, which is why doing things for your body can really like actually make a huge difference with your head. So these are just a few to explore and experiment with. So find which techniques work best for you, which ones are most convenient for you. There are also other ones like breathing techniques, like the 4-5-6 breathing. Breathe in 4, out, hold 5, out 6, things like that to help calm you down. There are also things like find one thing that you can see, or one thing you can smell, 2 things you can see, going through the senses, things like that. Just ways to like bring you out of your head and into reality, like 4 things you can touch, those types of things. So there are a lot of other exercises, but these are the ones that I found most effective personally, and that just really help regulate the nervous system and reconnect that survival mode with your logical thinking. So I'll go over them one more time just so that you guys can have them down. But it's bilateral stimulation, which is grabbing an object and bringing it back and forth in front of your eyes. And then patting yourself down, just literally just touching yourself, very self-explanatory. And then by shaking it out, so literally just shake it off, like just go for it, because it does actually work. And balance exercises. So balancing on one foot, balancing on a tightrope, whatever you want to do, just make yourself balance. It can even be yoga, it can be Tai Chi, things like that, but balance exercises. And then I'm so glad you're going to try that, because this one is my favorite. Legs up on the wall pose. So literally just lay down flat, feet up on the wall, like a 90-degree. You can even put your arms out, which is the most effective. You can have a pillow on your back too, if that helps with your lower back. But this is not only going to help with your nervous system, but it helps with your blood flow, with your circulation, with especially anxiety. It helps with your gut and just everything like that, especially your vagal nerve, I believe. Anyway, legs up on the wall is a really good one. But those are the 5 that I have for you guys today. If you guys have anything you want to add or say, go ahead and type it in the chat or unmute yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.